the time you're 35, what is known as you have trouble having a baby. I forget the name exactly. Sorry, but after 35, you have. Well, Don Lemon said you're not in your prime. Exactly, you're not in your prime. You have you have an issue having kids. I forget the name of the term, but when you're 40, it's basically very tough to have kids, especially if you want to have multiple. Good luck having one of those. But for men and women, it's different. But women, this goes back to the decline of traditional values. Women have lost sight of what their superpower is, and that is motherhood. Yes, you can have a business. Yes, you can make money. Yes, you can work. But nobody, despite what certain people in the trans community can say, will tell you that men can have babies. Women are the ones that are having babies. Yeah. And they need to remember that that is their superpower. And that's a lot of what Andrew Tate talks about when we have those conversations with him. But people want to blaspheme him for having traditional values when women are the ones that have the babies as much as they're trying to push that men.
Yo!
There's baby, men having baby emojis on. That is their superpower. And that's a lot of what Andrew Tate talks about when we have those conversations with him. But people want to blaspheme him for having traditional values when women are the ones that have the babies as much as they're trying to push that men.
Yo!
There's baby, men having baby emojis on.
There's baby men having baby emojis. Yo! There's baby men having baby emojis. No, I'm just kidding. Yo! There's baby men having baby emojis. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta figure out how to use this thing. Sorry. If you were just tuning in, if you were a subscriber, I really appreciate it. To be honest, there's not really a direction with where the stream is going. It's really just gonna be kind of me going online, looking up random shit. I'm really just trying to get stuff set up right now. I've never used YouTube for streaming, so trying to figure out how do I get to like my, is there like a dashboard? Though I'm such a boomer. Help! Where was I just? I was just. Okay. Okay. Help! Oh. Where was I just? I was just. Okay. Okay. Help! Oh. I'm going in a loop right now. Where was I just? I was just. Okay. Okay. Help! Oh. I'm going in a loop right now. Big brain. Big brain, people. Come on. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a fan, he a fan, he a freaky at. I mean, is there really anything else to... I don't think there's really anything else to set up. Right? Although I would like to see the chat. Can I pop this out? Do we care? Do we care that much about that? Or, huh? Huh? All right. Whatever. We're here. We streaming, baby. The stream is live. And if the beat live, you know. All right. Let's go. Let 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 go. Let's see what happens when I watch a video. GameStop craze. See what the news is saying.
When I see meme stock mania taking over again, led by GameStop and AMC, I need to remind you that this is irrational. There's no way these stocks should reach such elevated levels on their own. At one point today, GameStop had a market capitalization of nearly $20 billion, though it finished lower, just under $15 billion. But people were buying or selling millions of shares at those exalted levels. Was GameStop worth almost $20 billion? At the end of the day, it's worth what buyers will pay for it. I accept that. However, I prefer to be a little more rigorous than that because I want something with staying power. The best way to figure out what a company might be worth is to compare it to another company in the same industry. For GameStop, I think the closest compare is Best Buy, another electronics chain with lots of gaming exposure, and one that has a $16 billion market capitalization at the moment, not that much higher than GameStop did for today's ridiculous run. How do they stack up? Let's use the last 4 years. In the last few, that period's a very good gain. GameStop revenues have bounced between $5 and $6 billion. Best Buy, meanwhile, did $43.5 billion in sales this year, almost an order of magnitude higher. How about earnings? After losing mountains of money from 2020 through 2022, GameStop made about $17 million last year. That's an M. By contrast, even though Best Buy's earnings have been on the decline, it still made $1.4 billion last year. Billion with big. You could argue that GameStop's on the upswing while Best Buy's seen its profit go lower. But if they have roughly the same market capitalization, an electronics retailer that's making $1.4 billion should be worth a lot more than a game retailer that's making $17 million, don't you think? Hey, don't forget that Best Buy pays a generous dividend with a 5% yield at these levels, while GameStop pays no dividend. Altogether, I don't see how these two companies that do roughly the same thing can be worth roughly the same price. According to Wall Street, Best Buy's numbers are so much higher. I'd love to tell you it's radically undervalued because we own this one for the Travel Trust, but at best I can just say Best Buy's too cheap. Well, how about the possibility that GameStop can't be judged by its current state? Instead, we need to think about how the company can reinvent itself by selling stock here. Well, let's say they can sell $1 billion worth of stock, something I think the SEC would actually probably let happen, because they don't seem to care either way. If GameStop had an extra $1 billion, it could get out of some bad leases, maybe makes a little more money. Maybe he can use the stock to make an acquisition. Hey, have him go buy Best Buy, for heaven's sake. GameStop's market capitalization was well above it at one time, but I don't think any potential takeover candidate would be willing to accept a stock deal if GameStop's at these levels. Even if they did, it would crush the stock, and the short sellers who currently are being crushed would make out like bandits. Those who own it would have egg all over their faces, as the stock would be obliterated if GameStop did a gigantic offering to pay for a transformational acquisition, because that's what it needs, as the current business is dying. So the most obvious comparison says GameStop's overvalued. The company's been reluctant to change its stripes, and it can't use its stock to buy someone else without ruining the shortbuster thesis that got it here. I just can't get 64, or I can't even get to 50, I can't even get to 44 for that matter. In short, when I see this running GameStop, the responsible move is simply to say, sell, sell, sell. What about AMC? Different situation entirely. GameStop at least has a good balance sheet and actually turned a profit last year. It's just that the stock's overvalued compared to its peers. But AMC, well, if left to its own devices, I think this movie theater chain will mostly run out of money in 2026, when $2.8 billion in debt comes due. They sold some stock yesterday from a plan that allows them to raise capital, but the $250 million they raised just made it easier for them to pay their debts that come due in 2025. If the stock keeps climbing, AMC can sell more stock. That's good. It's how these guys made it through the pandemic to begin with. But that big slug of 2026, it's just way too daunting. In the end, I think it's a dead man walking. You're catching AMC in the walking phase. Sell it before the dead man phase, and you'll do just fine. I like to say there's always a bull market somewhere. I promise I'll find just for you right here on Mad Money. I'm Jim Cramer. See you tomorrow. Last call starts now.
You can't compare no company to GameStop. No other company does what it does. You know what GameStop does? They rob me for in-store credit. Nobody does it like them. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. Forbes.com UK, these guys are advising on how to buy GameStop stock shares. Wall Street funds. ...2022 earnings report that revealed that a net income of $48.2 million. Net sales amounted to $2.226 billion compared to $2.254 billion in the prior year's fourth quarter. So it did worse. Dang, in its most recent fourth quarter results for 2023 released in March, net sales were $1.794 billion compared with $2.226 billion in the prior year's fourth quarter. Net income was $63.1 million for the fourth quarter compared to net income of $48.2 million for the prior year's fourth quarter. Whether these figures make GME more or less of a target for short sellers is anyone's guess. With the populator means so it's doing terrible. Closed Friday at $17.46. What are we at today? Wednesday? $271% gain. There's nothing that prompts him to go up and down aside from one guy who put a post out. That's really all it is. Imagine having that much power. You could post something online and then everybody's just like, let's go. This guy's a legend. And they're not going to talk about this guy in history books. What's his name? Keith Gill? They're not going to put his name in a history book, but this man's a legend. An American hero. Its stock became famous for being famous. Gee, that almost sounds like some family that I know. It's always on TV. They got like a bunch of reality shows and shit. BlackBerry? BlackBerry's still around? What? BlackBerry's... The hot topic on Tuesdays. Company shares are taken off on Tuesday alongside the return of Warren Katie. Warren Katie is the trading. 44 million shares of the stock have changed hands, well above the company's daily average trading volume of about 8.8 million shares. It's up that much. 16.3% as of Tuesday morning and is up 5.9% since the start of the year. What is BlackBerry even doing right now? I don't see, and that's what I don't understand with these companies is they're still around. What are they doing? What? Huh. Interesante. That's wild. That's wild, gang. That's wild, gang. There is no rational case for the current stock price. Isn't really investing at all. This is speculating. Speculating what? We're not... I don't even think it's speculating. It's just fighting back against a bunch of jackasses who are in control and have all of the wealth. Like speculating that the company's going to take off. It's a company that sells gaming products. That industry is like, I mean, they don't even do like computer stuff. I think eventually like that type of equipment, even like consoles and stuff, are gonna be just non-existent. Everything's gonna be freaking VR or augmented or some sort. I don't know. I guess I could be wrong. I guess I am speculating. I'm just speculating myself. Note that there are some who make money off meme stuff. My speculating would actually be going against it. My speculating would actually be going against it. I really hope my mic sounds decent. I hope the mic sounds decent. The mic sounds decent.
Psst, I see dead people. Hey, monster on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a freak throw, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? They in the street and hate me. Fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body. I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walk him down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to sell.
That's why he suggests buying a momentum ETF as an alternative approach to buying a single meme stock. Where's the momentum?
Playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boy,
certified pedophile.
That fuck him up. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us. 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 You think the Bay gon' let you disrespect Pop, nigga? I think that Oakland show gon' be your last stop, nigga. They cold.
Dang, this movie actually didn't do good at all. What?
Go. The audience not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. Ain't there some P-rest that's for bitchin'? You Malibu most wanted. Ain't no law boy, you ball boy. Fresh Gatorade or something.
Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping.
You niggas will get a wedgie. Be flipped over your boxes.
What's over your foe? The other vaginal option? Pussy.
Nigga better straighten they posture. Got famous all up in content. Might write this with a doctrine. Tell a pop star quit hiding. Fuck a caption, won't action. No accident, I'm hands on. He fuck around, get polished. Fucked on Wayne Grower, he was in jail. That's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. I'm glad D-Rose came home, y'all didn't deserve him neither. From Alondra down to Central, nigga better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena. That predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot. Ay, put the roll label on me.
I'ma get him dropped.
Sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5.
Ay, devil is a lie. He a 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up. It's a must. We outside. Ay. They not like us. 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 Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still double down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using town folk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you, this the real nigga challenge. You caught Future when you didn't see the club. Hey, what? Lil baby help you get your lingo up. What? 21 get your first street cred. Thug make you feel like you a slime in your head. Hey, what? Quavo said you can be from Northside. What? 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. Here was God's plan to show y'all the liar. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a fan, he a fan, he a freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, hey,
feel like a zoom option here.
Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Let me hear you say OV ho. Say OV ho. Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way. Are you my friend? Are we locked in?
Look at the last month.
Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way.
Like when did this whole thing start kicking off? See, we got down right here. 4-2. Yeah, $10 and a penny. $10.16. $10.93, $11.21, $11.90, $11.29, $11.09. So we had a bit of a drop there. $10.91, $12.76. 10. How do I? $10.30, 48. That's crazy. Huge did. But it's been trending up for since what was that, the 29th? Or the 22nd. Who is it? Somebody's got to have this information. And who determines who gets it? Like, how do I get in on these? How do I get in with these people?
folks,
All right.
you better buckle up. This morning, GameStop broke out to a level we haven't seen since May 2021. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the setup on how far this can climb, what history suggests is coming next, the latest going on behind the scenes with the short squeeze setup, and the best strategies to potentially
We're about
play
to
it.
figure out,
And
we're
then
about
we'll
to
be going
learn
into AMC.
what
AMC
we're
broke
in
out pretty
for.
aggressively itself this morning as well.
All right,
It went all the
Zip
way up to
Trader's going to give us the
$13.30.
information
They
that
also
we
announced
need
they
to know that if
completed
we
a
need
$250 million share offering.
to
I'll
get
discuss
in,
what that means
or
for
if we need to get
fungibility and whether
out.
this offering being behind us is
I'm thinking
indeed a
out.
positive catalyst. We'll also
I'm
talk
thinking
about
out.
the one advantage that AMC actually does have right now over GME. And we'll get to work in a second, but first, quick plug, we are officially launching our Squeeze 50 sale. Squeeze 50 will get you 50% off our options membership, which includes our step-by-step lessons, private Discord chat, and options alerts. But what are some of the recent alerts, Charlie? Well, thank you for asking. We alerted GME calls yesterday, and those ran from about $9.38 to $35.70 at highs this morning, a roughly 279% run alert price to highs. We alerted AMC calls yesterday. Those ran from about 88 cents to $4.80 at highs, a roughly 443% run alert price to highs. Obviously, we're in a very hot market right now, and these are some of our hottest winners. But if you're looking for well-researched, in-depth options ideas and an overall program that is very, very well made and for beginners, well, I'll put the link down below for you to learn more. Squeeze 50 will get you 50% off. Okay, let's go ahead and get to work. So the meme trade is just getting started, and how do we know this? Well, we know this because we are in the beginning of the awareness stage. People are just waking up now and getting engaged. You look on Google Trends, searches for GME and AMC are just starting to go up, mimicking a lot of the trends that we saw during the first cycle back in 2021. You have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of folks that have essentially been
strike call
completely
therefore
asleep and
typically
dormant
refers
since
to a call
2021
option
meme era
contract
runs,
where
and they
the
are just
investor has the
starting
right,
to
but
become
not
aware
the
of the
obligation
situation
to
here
buy
and
the
wake up.
underlying
And a lot
stock.
of them are choosing to hop
The
on the
specified
trend and
strike
into the
price before the
stocks,
option
and when that
expires. If the
happens, it
stock
causes the
price
prices
rises
to go up even
above the
further and
strike
attract
price,
more
the
and more
call
attention,
option
which is a
becomes
big
more
self-fulfilling
valuable
prophecy.
than the
Now you go and you pull up the chart on
Gains
GME.
below
Well,
the
GME yesterday went from
call
around
option
$17 to
becomes
38 at highs and then sold off to 27. That was a drop of about 29%. It later went on to more than double into
Do I know what that
$80,
meant?
and then it went ahead and
Absolutely
sold
not.
off again to $35 at lows. That's a drop of about 56%. Now the reason that this is important is because when you are in a momentum cycle, the bigger the drop, the more the rebound effect. It's like a trampoline. The further you go down, the further it'll shoot you up. And assuming the springs of the trampoline stay in place, which seems to be the case here, well, we should be in the exact same situation where you're going to see a much bigger shoot up the next bounce. But why is this the case though? Well, it's because huge dip buys allow the opportunity for people who are late to the game to buy in at substantially discounted entry prices. It allows shorts that don't want to mess with this a second time around, don't want to mess with a big meme resurgence, to essentially cover before the next rebound. And it overall gives time for the next wave of upward sentiment volume to flow back in. Now, what many are shocked about is the sheer resiliency that both GME and AMC have had through countless halts. Volume that is coming in right now is completely undismayed, which is a very, very strong indication for further uptrending, especially when you're talking about GME. Now, let's talk about the next catalyst, which I believe is a Gamma Squeeze 2.0. So many people trade GME with options, and when people buy options, the market maker
Does my man say gamma squeeze? The fuck's a gamma? When stock prices experience rapid shifts, the conditions may be ripe for a squeeze. In this scenario, investors may find themselves buying or selling shares of stock outside their normal trading pattern in order to minimize losses. A gamma squeeze is an extreme example of this, in which investor buying activity forces a stock's price up, often quite sharply. That's what happened in early June 2021 as shares of AMC experienced dramatic sudden gains. Gamma squeezes are off. Options trading may be problematic. Okay.
has to fulfill said options. And in the last couple of days, a ton of out-of-the-money options that wouldn't have been anywhere near profitable when GME was trading in the $15 region are now suddenly very, very, very profitable, which did cause a bit of a gamma squeeze on the way up, but you have a lot bigger of a gamma squeeze coming as some of these farther out options get closer and closer to expiration. You see, market makers as of last week had no idea that 30, 40, 50, 60, or even 80 strike calls had a high likelihood of expiring in the money, but now they do. So what happens next? Well, the longer the price stays near those levels, the more shares market makers are going to have to buy in order to hedge against that risk, the risk of losses on paying out those options contracts, improbable contracts that are now very, very probable. And that is what is called a gamma squeeze, not to be confused with a grandma squeeze, which is when your grandma feeds you too much food and you get fat and you can't leave your door without squeezing out of it. But anyways, I want to show you the short seller situation here. If you're a short seller thinking you want to short the heightened GME price, well, according to iBar,
Gotta cut that, Zip Trader. You gotta cut that.
Some 8.1% as of May.
I like the
10th
rest.
to
You gotta cut that.
21.9% as of today, May 14th. And the amount of borrows available have dropped dramatically. Now, these just record the public borrows available, but the truth is that the dark exchanges are probably not much better in terms of rates, because otherwise brokers would simply be incentivized to simply lend them out publicly, right? Why settle for 5, 6, 7, 8% rates when you can go onto the public exchanges and settle for 20%? So what's the point that I'm trying to make here? Well, the point is that firepower for shorts to push the stock down via shorting is getting more and more limited, which we love to see. Yesterday, we talked about how the effective short interest is probably around 43% if you use the public numbers we have and you subtract direct registered shares and Ryan Cohen shares, which are essentially locked out from being lent and don't move much. And when you look at that 43% short interest, you got to start thinking, okay, wait a second. If even a quarter of those short sellers want to start covering, that is going to chase the price up so aggressively that everybody is going to see a massive, massive return, which again, I mean, is the whole thesis for why people are buying right now. Next, I want to bring you over to the Roaring Kitty angle. The big reason that this meme revival is back on right now is because of Mr. Roaring Kitty. And if you look at all of the Twitter/X videos he's posted, it seems obvious he's been planning this for quite a while. The question is, why now? And is he just going to stop and let the attention die off? Well, I think there's a reason he chose right now, and I think that he's not done giving this stock attention. Now, there's two angles that I believe that he is playing off of right now. Number one, there is a huge divergence between GME short interest and GME's price. As the price went down, shorts actually decided that it made even more sense to increase their shorting positions. That's like the short seller equivalent of buying a stock after it's run up 5,000%. Like, sure, it could keep running, but you're leaving yourself open to a huge blowout. And number two, unless he secretly sold all of his shares, he likely still has.
Explain short selling to me like I am in elementary school. Alright, imagine you have a toy car that you borrowed from your friend. Your friend expects you to give the toy car back eventually. Now let's say you think the value of this toy car will go down soon. So you decide to sell it to another friend for its current value. Here's where it gets interesting. You don't actually have the toy car yet because you borrowed it. So you borrow the toy car from your first friend, sell it to your second friend, and promise to give the toy car back to your first friend later. If the value of the toy car goes down like you thought, you can buy it back later at the lower price and return it to your first friend. You make a profit because you sold the toy car for a higher price than what you bought it back for. But if the value of the toy car goes up instead, you have to buy it back at the higher price, which means you lose money because you sold it for less than what you bought it back for. So short selling is like borrowing something and selling it in the hopes that its value will go down so you can buy it back later at a lower price and return it, making a profit. Yo, ChatGPT is good at breaking it down. That was a very simple explanation.
Has a massive position. In April 16,
ChatGPT for the
2021,
win.
Roaring Kitty said he had about 200,000 shares of GME, which split adjusted would be 800,000 shares. 800,000 shares at last week's trading price of $10 is $8 million, but 800,000 shares at this morning's highs of $80 is $64 million, a $64 million position. So I mean, a few weeks of planning meme videos to see a potential 8x in wealth growth and media coverage resurgence is not a bad idea. And good luck trying to get him into trouble. All he did was post memes. He didn't even talk about the stock. He didn't even mention the stock. It's not his fault all these people bought in. So folks, I think the combination of ripe short interest with the huge incentive to drive interest back into the stock, the tens of millions of dollars incentive to drive interest back into the stock, well, I think those things are what made him post, and I doubt he's done now. I think he saw the setup, I think he likes the money, and I think he likes the celebrity. Clearly loves the attention and drama. That's why he's posting all of these video clips that are very, very well thought out and very, very cryptic. And hey, kudos to him. Lots of people in the big money world, big hedge fund guys, they'll go and they'll take massive, massive positions in a stock, whether to the short side or to the long side, and then they'll go on CNBC and all the mainstream media outlets and talk up their position. If it's a short position, they'll say only bad things about it. If it's a long position, they'll say, oh, I can't believe how great this company is. Everybody should buy. And then all of a sudden they make money just by talking about it. Next, let's talk AMC. So for whatever reason, a lot more people are interested in AMC on Twitter and in the media than on GME. I don't know why that is. I think it's largely because the share price is lower per share, so retail gets more excited. Again, when it comes down to the difference between GME and AMC, for me, the big difference between AMC and GME is that AMC has just raised so much capital, created so many shares over the last couple of years, where GME has done virtually nothing. And the problem with AMC is also it's really, really difficult to risk manage when you have constant dilution. Even today, we got another one of those press releases from CNBC, quote, AMC raised about $250 million of new equity capital, completing the sale Monday during the revived meme stock craze triggered by the return of Roaring Kitty. The movie theater operator sold 72.5 million shares in an at-the-market equity offering that it launched on March 28th. AMC sold that stock at an average price of $3.45 per share before commissions and fees, the filing said. Now, here's the thing. I've been upset about how AMC's share count has expanded. I talk about that every time I talk about AMC, but at the same time, it appears here that retail is trying their best to give AMC a chance, a millionth chance at redemption. I'm hoping that after this offering closed, which it closed today, that the board decides to take that chance and allow no new offerings to go through for at least a few weeks. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm excited about AMC, because while I am hoping for that, I'm also not naive. Fool me once, shame on you, but fool me 20 times, shame on me, right? That just means I'm a moron. But here's what I will say with AMC stock. AMC is set up to run, and it can run a lot if the board doesn't decide to do what the board always does. If the board simply decides to hold off on diluting more. And the one advantage it does have, again, is that it does have that lower share price than GME, which makes it a lot easier for retail to acquire shares. But at the end of the day, if you're going to choose between one, GME or AMC, I still think that GME is a far, far better squeeze setup. AMC, they're just too dilution heavy. They just have too big of a float now, and the board just doesn't seem to really respect its shareholders. But anyways, folks, look, bigger picture, there is something big brewing with all these short squeezes, because it seems like everyone in the media is freaking out. This morning, you had a lot of negativity from the elites, intellectuals, about this GME rally. Former SEC Chair Jay Clayton says he is bothered by the GameStop GME situation and is questioning whether the U.S. government should get involved. He pointed out that the massive swings in stock prices based on tweets and speculative buying resemble gambling more than genuine investing. According to him, these activities could potentially undermine the integrity of financial markets. And this sentiment is being echoed everywhere.
It bothers me on many levels. I think your last guest got it right. It's a lot closer to gambling than it is to trading, and it's certainly not investing.
And it's very, very interesting to me that retail folks deciding to buy a stock is undermining financial markets, but Congress trading.
I just hate the way that fucking guy looks. I don't even care about anything that he said. Like, just looking at that guy, I'm like,
good business and good for markets, I guess. The truth is, folks, that a lot of these people just simply do not want the little guy to succeed. If you try to climb up the ladder, they'll force you back down by raising your taxes, devaluing your dollar, changing your regulations, supporting your competitors, and if you do manage to beat those odds and become successful, they'll use half of your money to fund foreign wars. It's quite frankly genius, and if you complain about it, they'll call you uneducated or unempathetic. So anyways, folks, when you're seeing all of this reporting about how stupid retail traders are and how people don't understand that they're buying based on memes and they're not genuinely investing, well, you got to understand that people aren't buying based on memes. They're buying because of the short squeeze setup presented by the memes. When a meme results in widespread attention and volume and buying pressure for a stock that is heavily shorted and in many cases predatorily shorted, well, all of a sudden you have a huge short squeeze setup. So this isn't about, oh, you're not genuinely investing. This is playing the game like they play it. Anyways, folks, that caps off today's video. Let us know what you think about GME and AMC down below. Make sure to take advantage of that Squeeze50 coupon code, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hey, Childish Gambino's gonna be here in September? Yo, turn me up. Hot stocks that are heating up, baby. Pet IQ. iRobot, what the? According to economist Tyler Cowen, Americans have become lazy. You could be anybody to know that. May get worse because of technology. Da 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 da. Yo, do they have this guy's full rally on, like? Yo. Yo, these are fucking leaders, bro. Uh, How many stocks do I really get in stock? Devil is a lie. He is 69 guy. Yo, what the? I can't fucking go on X anymore, bro. What the fuck was that? The f... Oh my gosh. How come this tool is much easier to use than the one that was on Market Watch? Like just straight into it. This is CNBC. Market Watch, you don't think like Market Watch's website should be more tailored to people who actually trade and have tools that are as simple as something like this? Like that's a pretty basic tool. Posted a picture of X on social media platform of a video gamer. Stupid! Stupid! Movie theater operator sold 72.5 million shares in equity offering launched. What was the previous open at? I feel like I should show what the previous open was at. You. How many stocks do I really need? It's at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5, 8. $52-week high. $64.83, and that was yesterday. What the fuck am I looking at? My table, for some reason.